Okay, everybody, you know, oh, rock and roll. No, rock and roll. Ah, character number 56, Divilan of character number 2, Igua Destina. There's a favorite movie I like called, don't remember. But in that ghost myth of availability, then the spirit of the sun will be Prasampanam, each in the Tank song. So, okay, Justin Bishop, designing the intellectual of law in relation to method of idling program, because the idling program is based upon the transmission of orgies. No, it's just the common use of Olagan, Olado, or Olan. Is that a country? Where? In Olan? Don't know. Anyway, our perception of a marky mark in relation to the trans mode, the data will be gonna reposition itself into the compliance of its own network, because the higher brigade will actually be metadone in relation to SYD. Did I visit and found something? Oh, so in that way, thunderbolt of fur in relation to our coat. How seasonal is our teleco in relation to our dreamer of dear me. So in dear me, what is the confluence of knowing that the majority of our own world is the signal of the dictator, because based upon our destination, the ransom of illegal stuff is the Noksten of our world and grammar of Dila. Because in that way, if we can touch the reference number in relation to the Noksten, then our world of data will position ourselves into its compliance and its own maturity to understand the N and and in that way do we actually redevelop the post of artificial of but armament based upon our development of Navon. The canon of Navon is the song of ooh yummy. But what kind of things is the now of ammo? No. Development of Dilison is the quatraton of our cutting transson, because of our cutting transson, the next dottY is our bridge of, you know. So, mathematically, the understanding of the collusion based upon our own Sasa. So, who's Sasa in relation to really girly? Oh, but he likes shoes, I think. Shar, Sa, I forgot. But anyway, ugh, I'm so disgusted with Poof the World. Nearly over. Justin Mulligan, you know, Kevin Ish, and anyway. In relation to build our next network into our perception of our own common world because mentally, this dog do not know that we need. Okay. I'm nearly finished of things in my speech pathologist. It's quite tiring. But anyway, in relation to our next development of the paroxysm, oh, feel good. So, I don't like Asia. I'm purebred. So anyway, you know, we married. Oh really? Anyway, okay. Uh, Talasam, potato, stuff. So in that review based upon our OP is our palexicide of the almond because in the gospel of do we threaten the oracle in relation to protection of the soul flowers of ginseng? Didn't you used to give me a lot of ecstasy back in the old days? You broke up with your bloody partner, Max. Oh, who bloody cares? That's the gay world for us. 1 minute we in, next minute we out. But anyway, he used to be a florist in Malvern Road, you know, opposite Hungry Jack's. But now you're gone. So, yeah. Anyway, the evolution of the second of the transcend system, the metallate of our law, is the system because our pinta is the nickname of no, inaccurate, which means inaccurate of the thermotan, because the thermotan, one word is an equal of the next electron, because the next electron is that the nakatam of our parallel is the leaven. So in that way, in relation to leaven, how do we translate the next division of our protocol to sector 3? Because within sector 3, the ligand of the fuel is the quercetin of the Duncan or Val. But Vicky, in relation to ANZ, I had issues back then. I ended up with, oh god, forget about it. So anyway, in that way, the conclusion of our lawyer is the instrument of our patasa. But our instrument of our patasa is that how can we conflow the 21, 56, and 34 to stock the icton of inherit by vintage. But the op shop is the difference in relation to our society because I don't know. Sorry. So in that way, based upon our transcend, the development of the third technology is to prosexton, the sexton, and the local. The telecom is the ticket of HSBC in relation to the next monk. Is it? No. The next tick. So in that way, when we can conclude the HSBC in relation to our Citibank. What little is your own? So Messi 25, Messi 56, Wednesday, Messi 4, 3, 2, 8, 1, 6, 5. Resonant parallel of the parameter center. So in that way, the coordinate of the content of the argument based upon synthesis is an algorithm of the algorithm. And in that way, the calculator will measure the infant descendant of babysit in relation to a study. So, in relation to our study, the translate of the position will interfere the next technology of data and the 6 percentages of its own value. But within so of its own value, its validating of our parallel is just the mechanism of our inherit. No. Column number 6 in relation to diplom, because column number 6 based upon diplom is that our dottY of our CMOS is the dottY of our Android to flexion the next decision. Because in that way, the dottY of law is an instance of our inherit to validate the next sempana, which is a diplom of DFRA in relation to our fifth economy. But based upon our fifth economy, the development of our 21, 58, and 56 is the development of the plur. So, of the plur is the sentence of our law, and to integrate the politician to Melanie, the Foxy, no, leisure, sorry, don't know how to spell leisure. Leisure is the decision of the sustained stability in relation to the ECO, and in so, the scientists will work out the recycling bin based upon our COH and the CO Chanel in relation to our paper. So in that way, once we have our ordering system based upon our chestnut is what? Oh, so hairy cow. I like hairy men. So with the chest, common, isn't it? Oh. So in that way, the chestnut is based upon our secretion of the anaconda to Dotha Longtong, disciplinament of you. So within that way, how do we actually comfort the incident of our sustain? No, of our work path. The separator of the work path is based upon the transaction of our threshold before the engine, sunburst, the flying star. So when it does that, it will perform the next 3010, which is 21, 3010, and 56, 21, 3010, and 59, 21, 3010, and 26, 48, 3010, and 56, 24, 38, 3010, and bulk 24, 36, 38, 3010, and 24 bytes. So in that way, we will convert into the signal of the transom. Because when we do that, the composition of the naganang will perform into the next ethanol by our ethanol. So by our ethanol based upon BHP, the decision of our energizer will That's all I can do for now in relation to. So, in that way, once we sequel into the Andamana, we will develop the next code of the produce to divert into the lecture and to perform the node. So in that way, if we can convert the enemy, the development of the enemy is the substance of our menisite, because the development of that is an encode of production of trypsin. And in so, when we have 31, 58, 24 hexaton, we need to work out 21, 36, 48, 43, and 4010 RGB in relation to red code. So in relation to red code, based upon our Chinese movie, Ninkanakatam of suitable color code is the definition of Liba. So in relation to Liba, the Nixon of 5, 10, 21, or is the Nixon of Dala, and to pieces in the lawyer in relation to the. So in that way, 54, 25, 72, and 48 is the second of the higher threshold to Kristen to the bridge in relation to knowledge. And in relation to knowledge, when our computer connects together, sharing printers and file, we work together as an external of. So, in so, it's really in front. The validation of the next Kukkan is the nada of the red sun by the indicator of the solar system. So, in this way, the determination of the layer is that the sun of the solar will be in relation to Plaksan. The development of Plaksan is based upon the Sakanam of the Nokali and into when it earlier the Tisasan of the Gravon, it will be Tisase in relation to the Oplam. So in that time, the conversion of Oplam is that the key Tingston into the nose yet. So in that way, if the centenum based upon our development of the Sata, it is the centenum of Ananga. So its own fraction, when it shows into the Kantadan, the percentages of its own value will be into the IIS V5 and the IIS V528V125, Patrol 75 and Patrol 61, Ikatasantan, Dovon. So in that way, when we convert into the sequenal of the Adler, the equation of our antennae is that the development of its own way is to equate the DYL in relation to Windows DLL. So in Windows DLL, the sun of the mechanism is the prefix of the legation of the velocity to secondum, the sun star, because the sun star is. But flamingo in relation to Flemington Racecourse. What kind of things we will institute the diploma by my sister-in-law Cindy based upon the nursery of shar. Within the shar, the transcendental is the circle of knowing that our teleka is the constant of I in relation to 21 books of. So in that way, when we can equal the Nikadan of Hula Su Duku in relation to our character, we will compromise the Nisenan of Thrall. So in that way, engineer, what is the next plakatang of the Nukanong of our value to imitate the fish food? And in that time, the sticky pork is island. But island in relation to your Dilnang. The Ukraine is Eastland of Pelu because it's Pelumnum of the strongest speed in relation to the Da. That's all. So in this relation and in relation to the Da, the Nukantan of the La will extata the next role play to travel past the clouds and to zeta the engines. And in so, when we compromise the Nikanam, it is the Rihisha of the Nonga. But in so, if we can eyeline the Ottersen of so, what scientists will along the next network of IIM35 and IIM-M36 and IIM-324, the Legasal Dimension in TNT. I love TNT, but TNT is an explosion though. But in that way, in TNT, the mechanism of our next monosun, we will fire the next manuscripture of the antiphon in relation to the Dishakaton, the distant of the shadows. But in time, when the photographer understood the sound of Yi Ni, Der, and in relation to the color code, the printing machine will be in relation to Zestaton. So, Fire Brigade in relation to our rock and song. How do we know that based upon our transition, the conversion of the bridge is just a bridge in relation to Ijuka versus the end of NSW? So in that time, in relation to NSW, where does the works in relation to the text of artificial? So fun. Oh, that's spice. I can't pronounce it. In that way, how can we intercess the Kanakasanam of Veden? And in so, if we can convert into the Kakanang of the Palais, then we will realize that my dad used to be a chef. So in that way, Dad, Ba, this is Kanong of the Lay. I love my mom. What's yellow? Oh, I can't. No. So in that way, the immanent of the Fisher, the development of Karina, now, Sapong, now, Diego is the Venedin of GST. not as yet in relation to transition. So 54 value 2 EC dot 1. This validation will illuminate into a formula and to position itself into the compliance of its own maturity and to alakatan the design. So in this way, the development of the amnesia is to work out the elephant based upon, the percentages of our own work and to include the chapter. So in this way, where is it? Lost the plot. Oh, here it is. So in this way, the separator will actually signal into the transung. But the validation of this work is that the focus of our law is in flow of HT5MLZ and HT5ML20Z and HT5 hologon. Would you like to know more about the hologon? Dia kenikah menangkap. So, in the evolution of Blizzard, the citizen of our own game, you know more about 3D than I do, but the dialogue of your dimension is that when we have 6p of Ethernet, then the coding will be alcohol. So in that way, the citizen of our own game, the citizen is that our W is the troll. So, in that kind of way, the 26th position is the cototon of our law, and to dottY, the plurality of peripheral. And in so, when it does that, the stone of the draw will something like that in the sanctum of our engineer to extend the blue. So, like that, our geomap. Nationally, our geomap is the condition of our own methodology based upon the Australia in front and to conclude the meta. In relation to conclude the meta, but the title is that, oh, bloody hell, I can't bloody wait, I've got to, name cheap. So anyway, so in that way, the Luxo is the development of the next technology based upon the synchrotron of Ilo. So in this way, the Sakana is the physicist of Mikanda and dottY. So in this way, the construction of the oil robot is the Nikita of Meganton and the timer of the Extadine. The timer of the Extadine is based upon the outrution of turnip and to position the underground. So in this way, the Valakathay of the season of the flying star will develop into the next Amnanam. So in so, when it does that, it will compromise the Ishanam of the paper and to convert into the Kakanam, because the percentages of its own value will illuminate into Wall Street and to convert into the Shang. Because in this way, when it does that, the signal of the telecom will position the Apache to and from the dottY. So this validation intershade of knowing that the paper cut is just an amount of embellie, because within that way, this platform is the quintessence of an insult, because mathematically, the horton is a noun. So, 5C, 26C, div 10, doc, node. So in this way, the dimension will be provisioning into the liberation of law and to transit the Onkason, because the piston, based upon the engineer, the dimension of the fifth Onkason is the integraton of 39%, 26 validation, data technology, 36%, 25 velocity, data technology, 36%, 21 partsam, data technology, uloma, 21%, 36 validation, derkakon, alaba, and 3281365 dimension of Vodakoshan, Galaxy 6, Galaxy 9, Galaxy 21, Ponchon. 38% and 26% value till United Nations Matha Ko Jenny 160, 170 and 110 internal. So 55 times 26 plus 2 equals 1432 divided by 5 times 26. So, Tony Jewish, would you like to know more? Foxy? Seven, 4, 4, 6, 4. Exposure. That's what exposure. Sister 3. Income. Sorry. Rock hard. Electron. Electron. sorry, I can't spell. PC 6 2 dottY attribute. Sorry, I can't spell. So in relation to the in relation to the next datason of the shadows, we are looking here in relation to the Mona Lisa by Leonardo da Vinci. Based upon the transson of Leonardo da Vinci, the telecom is IINet socket. Dat 6 illegal manner. Shar 6 1 10. Cut out family tree. Boston data core. Sender 59. The sun time of the sender 59 is based upon the transition of the provision by the Pelihuhu, which is an equa in relation to the Peliphilan and Prongmasong of Parama. And to transfer this Parama, the ego of the Nakanan is that the Mehehe of the Messiah is to sun the Akanam of bleed. So B C 2 8 times 56. So 56 times 21 divided by 12 equals 98. Sire, how do you spell sire? Sire, sorry, I can't spell. So sire in relation to 39%, 26%, 4%, 2%, 8%, 21%, bulk times 58 equals 9, 6, 1 bar. Greek. So in that way, the valuation of the velocity is to transit the nokonon of the polypholon. And in that time, the math condition of physics is the ankanon of the scientific calculator and to valuate the transon. So within the katanan, the next rocket is tall. Oh, I'm getting a bit strong about this. So inside the mechanism of Ana is the Keshishi. open, '69, 1 point. So in this way, the sankanan of the perversion is that the dimension of the 51, 56, 28 and 48 is a dipalang of Pelulu. So in that way, the development of the next and none is that the wakala of our aura will be pinned out into the advent at the sun. Because the division of this way is the kakalam of our own society, and also to pin out the data. So in so, the transition will aura into the fixation of the 62 dimension. And this Foxy, Foxy, and Foxy, and the 62 dimension. Sorry. Foxy, what are you doing? Go look for something. Go on, go look for something. Mommy loves you. Go look for something. Go on. Go on. Be a good boy. So, the Didonong of the Magalang is that the Vokong of the Ono is the deceased of EE 2, 10, 6, 1. Intersay. Hey, Foxy, good boy. Go look for something. Mommy gave you some. Go on. Be good boy. Be my good boy. So in that way, the 92 dimension and the 56 dimension is the mechanism of our protein to develop our own nutrition in relation to seed that, and also to position ourselves into our own compliance of its own network. So, Valelu, valve 326124821896824 and delay 21632148294168244561 and early 2145216129462149 214621482141 Hekere 2168248294621482148291482946 by Lekade Hartatong Hextaton. So block 6 trans orbit 3 they crisscross breadcrumb. No. Division support SOPRO coordinate. So in this way, division support SOPRO coordinate is based upon the arcanine of the Amanana and also to pin out the data of the 31 review. But the separator will be remeasured in relation to our imperial centimeters and the metrics in relation to our utilities and to position ourselves into the 21 shar. So within the 21 shar, based upon our apprenticeship, the conversion of our apprenticeship is based upon our less than of threshold later. So the division to support 29 plus 12 times 2 plus 1 equals 54 times 56% times 21% times 32% times 26% times 38% times 26% times 1% times 2% plus 0.5 equals so in that way the sextant of the next percussion based upon the binary platter is the cohesion of the JPEG platter. So in that way the conversion of data 9861 I fix key sun that voila. Valve 29. The conclusion of the valve of 29 is that the beginning of the percentages of its valuation is that the bacala will be remeasured into the conclusion of the illustration and to perform the next ekele, because in this way the household by hydropod is a dottY of Ale and the second of our Sinton, no, so later. So key access encrypt. That's not encrypt. Oh, encrypt 6 code 2456 R F X D A B oops G 10 B X C 9 10 8 4 3 sun. So in this way, the declaration of our application we will relearn the ignition based upon our engineer and duplication our law. So, 38% times 56 times 21 times 56 times 2 times 1. So, so 10 times 6 equals 60. 10 times 5 equals 60 plus 6 equals 66 times 29 plus 12 dot 3 equals 56 divided by 29 plus minus 2. Conversion hexagon 10 6 1 8. Fire E-way. Plex, Eden, Street, Node, Sun Street, Plexton, keyframe, 24, key, plus, close, affiliate, can't spell, sorry, genetics Geo5, oh sorry, can't spell. So the genetics Geo5 in relation to a part sun, and to translate the core, it is the delicacy of our inner law, and to dissociate the third amount of technology, and to academics diploma in relation to review the translate. So in this way, to review the translate, the provision to liberate into law is an institution of sustained stability, and also the hypertone of the delicacy of phenomenon. So in that way, this power will be Chris Reeve in relation to Lexington. Within ourselves, in relation to the third technology of our no, we will position ourselves into the compliance of this electron, because this electron, based upon the 31, 26, and 59 Galagang, it will arrive in the Galaksan Tokoshon by the Galaka, which is the decision of the shar of our Ober. The galaxy will be 21 Mika Sinta Dishon Vicinto Delexankan Dishan. So in that way, when we get the encanon in relation to our galaxy, the galaxy will our robot in relation to the Terminator and to intercept Alpha. So this system of genetics. Thank you.